Everyone loves a barn find. It's become a really popular way for enthusiasts, for people who want to take on a project to buy a car. A car covered in barn dust, in barn debris, sells far better than a car that's all been cleaned, a project car that is, it's all been cleaned. And well, a clean car, you can see the job ahead of you, you can see what's required. On a barn find, you very often can't. And barn find cars, pulled out of the barn, sold exactly as they are, command a higher price, a higher premium than project cars that have had that clean. Crazy, really, when you think about it. In fact, at some car shows now, there are stands completely designated to barn find cars, with that stand dressed as if it's a barn itself. Here, take a look at a few of these photos that I took at the NEC Classic Car Show recently. Now, I, like every other car enthusiast, love a barn find. I've done a few myself in the past, fixed them up, and well, I still own them or I've sold them on. But the problem with a barn find, well, the problem is in the name. You've got to find them. And because it's a bit of a craze, because people like to buy cars out of barns and go on that journey themselves, you know, really a personal journey with that car, well, finding them can be quite difficult. So I, completely unintentionally, have taken a different approach. I've got a few cars, as many of you will know who've been watching the channel for a while, and well, unintentionally, I have created 3 barn finds. 3 cars that I've parked in various barns that I have, that I've just not gone near for various reasons. I've just not touched them for a few years. And well, in this video, I thought that I'd introduce to you my barn finds, my self-created barn finds, and we'd get one out, we get it running, we get an MOT on it, and well, see how far we get. And I think this probably starts a series of me getting all 3 of these cars cleaned up, roadworthy, and well, featuring it all here on the channel. So please do stay tuned, and we'll start with the first of my barn finds. So let's start with this, a Mark III 2006 Mondeo. Hang on, look, don't stop the video. These cars, my barn finds, they do get better. Albeit for me, I'm not entirely sure that you can get better than this car. This car's been in here now about 6 years, and this was my dad's car, my dad's Mondeo Mark III, and he loved this car. He passed away, sadly, around 6 years ago, and he had a goal. He wanted to take this 130 horsepower diesel Mondeo up to 200,000 miles. I think when he passed away, it was on around 195,000 miles. For the couple of months after he passed away, I used it. I took it up to around 197,000. In fact, I'll put on the screen now a screenshot of the dash so you'll know how many miles are on this car. And then it failed an MOT, so I parked it up in here, and well, I haven't touched it since, as you can probably tell from the condition of the car. But I also can't seem to part with this car. I mean, this car is scrap, right? Let's be honest, it's not worth anything to anyone. But to me, it means the world, because when I hear this car start, and when I drive this car, I'm transported back to when my dad used to pick me up and drive me around in this. After all, my dad was a big supporter of my cars and trading cars and collecting cars, and he used to drive me all over Cornwall collecting cars. And well, we had some great times, and it was always in this Mondeo. So now you can understand why I've kept it, and well, why I've always intended to put this car back on the road. So in a future video, we're not going to feature any more on this one today, but in a future video, please do tune in, because I will be getting this out. I will be starting this car. I think actually we've got to tow start it now, because either the glow plugs are gone or the fuel pump's gone, but we'll get to that. But I'd love to think that I'm going to put this car back on the road and do those final 2,000 or 3,000 miles and get it up to 200,000 miles. So it'll be a future video. Whether we ever get it back on the road, I'll share it. So please do stay tuned. But this is my barn find number 1. So barn find number 2, it's another 2006 Ford. It's a Ford Street Car Winter Edition in Panther Black. It's a cool car. I bought this car probably 6 odd years ago. In fact, I'll put on the bottom of the screen when I bought it, so you'll know. Can't quite remember. And I bought this car from Saltash Car Auction because, well, I thought this would be a good car to buy in, to improve a little bit and to sell on and maybe make a bit of profit on. Can't quite remember why it's in here actually. I do remember advertising it a couple of times and not quite getting the offers that I wanted. So I reversed it in here one day and well, here it stayed. Probably, again, 5 or 6 years in here. I did have this car running 3-ish years ago, but I remember it getting a little bit warm. So here it stopped. We did try actually to start this car the other day, and I think the fuel pump, the in-tank fuel pump has gone. And if you've watched my video on the sport car, well, you know that we had to do that pump on that car as well. And well, there really is no inspection panel to view it from here because of course there's no back seat. So you have to get a fuel pump for this car, put that in, see if it starts, see if it's MOTable. I mean, it's been in here and it's been dry, so hopefully it will be. And we'll then return this one to the road as well. I think it's about 60,000 miles on this car. They're a pretty rare sight now. Their desirability, a little bit questionable, but I think it's really pretty. I think it will look great next to the sport car. And well, we'll see how we get on with this one too. So you can expect a video on this one in the not too distant future. Don't know if it's going to be Mondeo first or this one first, but whatever happens, we'll be getting these two cars out, running, and then making some decisions around what we do. Now, before I show you the third of my barn finds, and yes, it's a Ford, a bit older than these two, but before I show you that, and that's the car that really will feature in this video and we'll get out and get running, I did actually buy another barn find type car the other day. It's a Rover. I'll put a picture on the screen now. There's a series on that one coming very soon too. A Rover 25 Commerce, a rare thing. I quite like them. I've had one before, but anyway, that's another video for another time. Right, so you've seen the Mondeo, you've seen the street car. Now let's get on to the barn find that's going to be the subject of this video. Getting it out, getting it running, getting it MOT'd, and well, featuring it for all of you. So let's go take a look. So here we are, the third of my self-created barn finds and the subject of today's video. I know what you're thinking, at least this one is covered up. Well, this car came here in 2021, so that's just over 3 years ago. I reversed it up into this space, it drove in, and well, here it's remained, covered up. I did start it a couple of years ago, it started absolutely fine. What was my plan with this car? I don't really know. I just liked it and it came here. I thought, or maybe someone that I knew in the car community might want to take it on and do something with it. But well, I've just never really gotten round to it. Now you can already see it's a J-Reg. It's a 1991 car and it's a Ford. And the beauty of this, and there are lots of these being saved right now, the sportier versions of this car, loads of them being saved, but no one's saving the basic models. And this is the lowest of the low. This is the absolute basic model. It's so basic, in fact, that there's no rear wipe on this car. There's just a bung. Ford put a bung in because, well, back then, a rear wipe was an option. Okay, what is it? Well, it is a 1991 Ford Fiesta. And isn't it pretty? Right, let's roll it forward. Let's see if we can get it started and let's get it out of here, cleaned and hopefully MOT'd.
Nah, this old battery's had it.
It runs, and well, isn't it just a charming old car? And that sounds really, really nice. We're on choke at the moment, for those of you that remember what choke is. So I'll look to drop that back in a bit when the temperature comes up. Put a little bit of water in there. Actually, the levels were really good on this car. Guys, sounds really sweet, doesn't it? I do have one issue. The battery light is on, and whilst that could be because the battery in this car is absolutely dead flat, I imagine that when I switch the jump pack off, this car will cut out. It could be an alternator problem that may not be charging the battery, or the battery's had it. We'll try the battery first and then an alternator. In fact, let me cut to a bit in a moment where I disconnect the battery pack, and you'll know if this car cuts out before I do. There you go, I'll find out in a moment. But isn't it running lovely? Let's drop a little bit of choke. Yeah. Really nice. Really, really nice. The clock's working, looks like the stereo's working. Working, yep, got a code for that somewhere. Do the blowers work? Yes, they do. It's a lovely little car. I can't wait to get this out and get it cleaned. This car's got the 1100 engine, 1.1, and this is a Fiesta bonus. So I'll have to look and do a bit of research to see what trim level that was, but this really is poverty spec car, and well, all the better for it. Temperature gauge is moving a little bit now, so let's drop a little bit more choke. Yep, the choke's off. Running on no choke now, battery light still definitely on. We have indicators. Do we have lights? Looks like we're missing a couple of bulbs there up the front. Interesting noise behind the dash, I don't know if you can hear that. And on side lights. But no, really nice. Let's get it down, let's get it out, let's get it cleaned, and yeah, let's see what it needs for an MOT. I think also I'll put a different battery on it, as I said. And don't let these RS wheels fool you, everyone. This is a Fiesta bonus, and the original steel wheels are in the back, and part of me wants to put them back on the car. Don't know. Let's see what happens as the video progresses. Okay, update time on the Fiesta. And well, before jumping into sourcing and buying a replacement alternator, well, on further inspection, we actually found that the belt was a bit slack. So a bit of tightening. It's on, I'll give it rev. And then a bit more tightening, and it's fixed. Then to a pre-MOT, and it's fair to say both Nigel and I were, well, really surprised how clean, how rust-free. What a survivor. So then it was time for a wash to get, well, over 3 years worth of barn dust off the car. And it came up really nicely indeed. And this was just a snow foam and a sponge clean. So it's the first drive of the Fiesta, and it's off to its first MOT in over 3 years. And what are my first thoughts on the car? Well, I've already used the word in this video. I used it earlier. This car is absolutely charming. The engine has more than enough power. This car's full of zest. We really do have a good car here, a 32-year-old survivor. And I say 32 years because this car was registered on the 7th of January 1992. And I think earlier in the video I said this was a 1991 car. I was only wrong by 7 days, but one of you is bound to look it up and correct me, so I thought I'd correct myself. Right, let's see how the Fiesta fares come MOT time.
It passed. Isn't that brilliant news? And with only one advisory for a front inner suspension arm bush being worn. In fact, take a look at this absolutely outstanding MOT history on this car. Look how clean it is. What a fantastic Mark III Fiesta. As I said earlier in my video, many of these Mark III Fiesta, the hot versions of this car, are being cherished. They're already in enthusiast ownership. Cars like the XR2i or the RS Turbo or the RS 1800i. They're becoming quite a regular sight now at car shows. And as for the premium luxury models like the Gear or the Sport model, the S, well, again, a few of those are being preserved. But when it comes to the L, the LX, the Popular Plus or the Bonus, well, they're certainly a rare sight. I actually took to my old Ford brochures from the late 80s and early 90s looking for the Bonus model, and well, what I can see from that, what I've learned from that, is that the Bonus really is the popular model, which is the very bottom of the Fiesta range, with the Bonus having some additional interior comforts, such as a coded AM/FM radio. Note that it's not a cassette player, it's just a radio. How cool is that? It came with a glove box lid. Yep, that's correct. Back in 1992, a glove compartment lid was an option. Now, the Bonus has a digital clock, the Popular didn't. It has a heated rear screen, and I believe it also came, the Bonus that is, with white wheel trims. With modern cars absolutely stacked with options and driver comforts, well, it's hard to imagine, to go back and recall a time when buying a Mark III Fiesta Popular came with so few comforts, just the absolute bare minimum. And a popular, just like this bonus, well, it comes with no rear wiper. I already showed you there's a bung in the back of this car. It comes with only a single tone horn. Not too bad. A dual tone horn as you went up through the range. And it came with no 12-volt accessory socket, or cigar lighter, as it was called back 35 years ago. Albeit this car does actually have a 12-volt accessory socket. It looks to have been fitted by a previous owner, and it's got an isolator switch here because I think it's wired to permanent live. Anyway, enough about the interior, sparse as it is. Let's take a look under the bonnet at that engine. My Fiesta has the 1.1 litre HCS engine, which is fitted with a timing chain, and it's in really good shape. I said earlier this car goes very well indeed and feels far more than its 54 brake horsepower, a benefit I suppose of only weighing some 790 kilograms. And now for my dilemma with my little Ford Fiesta bonus. You see, the previous owner of this car, well, he or she must have loved it. So much so that they put these 13-inch RS alloy wheels on it and that little chin spoiler. Now, I like both, and I'll definitely be keeping the chin spoiler. But as I said earlier in this video, this car came with the original steel wheels. And I'm a sucker for an original car. So Nigel actually took the time to rub down the wheels and paint the wheels. Here, take a look at this. So I think this car, trying to keep it as original as I possibly can, well, it needs to go back on its steel wheels. After all, I've already showed you the interior. Well, it's absolutely period original. So shouldn't the outside be? We'll keep the chin spoiler, as I've already said. I mean, it looks nice, but let's put this car back on those freshly painted steel wheels and see what it looks like. You have to let me know what you think in a minute. So let's whip it round and let's get the wheels off this car. So what do you think of the original wheels back on this Fiesta? Jury's out for me, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure. I did like the RS wheels on this car, but I'm a big fan of an OEM look. And well, this is taking it back to an OEM look. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Whilst I'm not sure about these wheels, there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of, and that is that this car is transformed. Just back a few weeks ago when it was in the barn, hadn't moved for 3 years, to now MOT'd, running and driving really nicely. What are my plans with this car? Well, I'm going to put it up for sale. I'm not going to keep this car. I haven't used it for the past 3 years. So I think we'll see if we can find this car a new owner, someone who'll use it, enjoy it, improve it, take it to shows. Well, I think that's what this car deserves. I hope you like the Fiesta Mark III, the bonus. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this car. Yeah, I'm chuffed with it. I'm chuffed with how it's turned out. It is a charming little car and, well, a brilliant survivor, and one that I'm glad to have added my chapter to its history. I think I'll miss it, but I am going to sell it. I'm definitely going to sell it. Look, thank you for watching this video. Remember, we've got those other barn finds to come here on the channel, plus that Rover Commerce, plus everything else that's going on here at Cornish Car Collectors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next. Bye for now. Bye-bye.